Imagine a student knocking at your door early in the morning asking for anything, any work to be done because accordingly he did not have enough for his allowance, for his food and other expenses. Imagine a student who is called to my office. I was the director of admissions and aid before, to answer the question why he got a failed mark in the midterms. And his justification was, "Sir, I had mental block. I could not remember the answer because I was hungry." Imagine a student applicant who came to the office wearing his slippers because he did not have enough money to buy a pair of shoes. He came from the provinces. He came particularly from Marcos Apubi, if I'm not mistaken. And I had to share my pair of shoes with him so that he could be interviewed by another scholarship beneficiary. 3 examples. And I got lost. And because I had picture the video pero. This is what happened to technology. So, Father Arnold, Brother Jeff, members of the Board of Trustees, headed by Ruth and Tani, beneficiary, or rather benefactors to the Pandemic program. Dear beneficiaries, old and new, ladies and gentlemen, guests, buenos dias. Welcome to this launching of the 20th year anniversary of the SUWAYU Cada Food Subsidy Program. That is the formal name of the program. SUWAYU is the name of the late sister of Ruth, Yu Owen. When I laid out the program many years back, for almost a year, no one answered this call until finally I was losing hope already. Ruth said, "Oh, that's a good idea." I said, "Atakiya kami, good idea." Eventually, we came up with an understanding and she said, "Oh, let's use the name of my sister." Very good. I said, "How much do you want to start?" She gave me an amount and thus was born the Cada Food Subsidy Program with 10 beneficiaries, very hungry students. And I think the amount was 25 pesos per meal at that time. Now it's 50 pesos per meal. So from 10, we now have about almost 70, if I'm not mistaken. And then hopefully in 20 more years, we will have double that number or even more. Hopefully with your help. By the way, I see Father Rene at the back. Humbly wait. Father, good morning. And Father Mariuy. So my eyes are deceiving me. Father, would you like to take a seat? Okay. Thank you very much. So, where am I? So, I was asked to give you the opening remarks. And there are 3 things that I would like to say. First and foremost, a warm welcome. No? The title of the program is Cada Food Subsidy Program, 2 Decadas, 20 years, 20 long, happy years, challenging years. No? So, again, welcome. That's my first point. Never in my wildest dreams that I thought that this would come to this point. We'll have 70 plus or more scholars enjoying the program, and that we are still very much alive. And as I made mention, hopefully sana 20 years from now we still be there, very strong and alive and with many benefactors. I would like to believe that something good cannot die a natural death. It will really, keep on going. Second, that brings me to the idea of gratitude. Thanksgiving for the 20 years. It was not easy. There were days that I had to we had to talk a lot with Jenny because we were running out of funds to pay the caterers, the stallholders at the canteen, no? Because we would deposit the money with the finance office, the caterers would get it from the finance office and so much and so on. And it was a bit difficult. But with God's blessing and grace, we were able to survive. And survive strongly. From 10, 20, 25, 50, now almost 70 beneficiaries. No more excuses. From the three who came to see me years back, they are all successful persons in their profession. The guy who came in slippers is now an OIC principal in Marcos sa tubig. And I'm so happy because he sent me an email the other day. Said, daghang salamat kaayo, OIC na ko karon. I said, oh, very good. Very good. The other guy who was very hungry and because of the failed marks, brother, he now runs a business somewhere in Manila, and he said, "Sir, thank you very much." I said, "Don't forget to give back." The other one, get Kapil. The other one, sino yun?
Yung asking for a job.
Yeah. You know, he became a CPA. He taught in the Ateneo for 2-3 years as a way of giving back. He went to Hong Kong, and then he is now in Marcos, assigned as a CPA in one of the government offices. I know it's the audit office. And he helps me with so many things. With a friend who is also studying here with allowances. He said, "Sir, I will help someone from the islands." He supports the Cada program, and he has done so many things quietly. And so, I'm very grateful for that. And so, I'm also very grateful for the benefactors, past and present. I know you do not wish to be mentioned. I would want to mention a few, but never mind, because I will miss so many people. But we are very grateful. From the college admissions in the office and everybody at the university, we're very grateful that benefactors have come in year in and year out, sometimes daily. I know of a doctor who said, "I heard from the sermon, or rather from the mass, that there are poor."
Hungry. You know, in my fundraising years, 20 years of Cada, I raised funds from golf tournaments. And then when I ask for sponsorship for golf, people say, "Diyan na ba kunambre na Ateneo? Everyone's rich in Ateneo. Puro Portuguese yung mga tao dito." I said, "Did you know that the Jesuits started the education for the poor? So that even the poor can have the chance to be educated." So our scholars are about 30% of our, bumaba na, but I think at one point it was 30% of our student population. I was a hungry student. This is personal to me. This is not me pretending to understand what it means to be hungry. I know. I went to school with Anton in Chongwa, and then my father ran out of money, so my parents couldn't send me to school. My mother had to beg her sister, Auntie Pao, to send us to school. She was a widow. So my sister and I finished school. I graduated BSc Accountancy. Ma'am Jane Vascar was my classmate, our summa cum laude. Summa ba? Summa, no? So Jane was my classmate, and not having food, not having money to provide for schooling was something that was normal for me.
I'll be presenting on them. So today, I stand here with gratitude to share how thankful and blessed I feel to have the Cada program that provides for my everyday meal. This simple yet significant help has helped me throughout my journey as a student. A little background of my story. I am BS Electronics Engineering student, so as you all know po, this course requires a lot of materials to make or to complete projects I don't live with my parents, but I live with my grandmother who sadly passed away last year. So, and my aunt and uncle have been kind enough to provide for my needs. However, my allowance is just enough to cover my basic needs, but most of it is spent on food. So, because of this, I struggle to find the resources I need to buy the materials and components required for my projects. Things like sensors, tools, and components that are essential to my studies. As a student who's working hard to build my future in electronics engineering, balancing the demands of our academic with limited financial resources can be overwhelming. Thanks to this program, I no longer need to worry about my everyday meal, and now I have the opportunity to free up some of the limited allowance. The money I would have spent on lunch can now go towards buying materials I need. So to those behind Cada program, thank you for your generosity and for supporting students like me. You are not just providing meals, you are also fueling dreams. As I continue on my path towards becoming an engineer, I promise to carry the spirits of gratitude. Thank you once again for this opportunity. I will forever be grateful. Thank you.
Good morning once again. Buenos dias a todos. I won't keep this very long. I know that after talking about food subsidies, pangkadadiya, some of you may already be wanting your own food subsidy right now at nagugutom na po tayo. So hindi na po natin pahabain ito. But please allow me a few more moments of your very precious time. Allow me to do something that comes quite naturally to me as a priest, and no, it's not singing. It is giving homily. Para tayo magkukumpilya po ngayon. Nabanggit naman po kanina ni Shing that a portion of the collection from the Mass actually goes now to Pangkadadiya. And this is intentional. We've been trying to do that. You know, if I were a politician, of course, this time would be the time for me to start campaigning and asking for more votes. But since I'm not running for office, I would settle for this short reflection instead. Alam niyo po tayo mga Pinoy, we love salo-salo. Sharing a meal is more than just eating for us. It's a way of strengthening our bonds. Pag tayo nagsasalo-salo. Of coming together as a community. Just last ADFest, when we came together, it was a new expression of how it is to celebrate Christmas and ADFest. We loved it. We liked it. Because it was building community. Because para sa atin, meals don't just nourish the body, they create connections. They remind us that we belong to each other. We belong to each other. That's why Pangkadadiya is more than just a food subsidy program. It's very important that we do that and we recognize it as such. It's not simply about ensuring that scholars do not go hungry. And that is very important. It's also about making sure that they feel that they are not alone. That they are part of something bigger. That they are part of this community. It also reminds all of us that our limitations should not be an excuse to greater generosity. 1,200. Some might even say, lalo na yung mga empleyado dito, sabihin nila, 1,2 na yun, ha? Pinahan ko na kayo. But you know, it reminds me of this gospel story, which we all already know. Jesus feeding thousands with 5 loaves and 2 fish. You know, many focus on the miracle of multiplication. But what often gets overlooked is how Jesus did it. He did not just tell people, he did not just provide like money and then told people, oh, go buy your own food. He didn't just hand out silver coins and send them to the marketplace. Instead, He told his disciples something, a detail that oftentimes we fail to see. He told his disciples, you feed them. You feed them. And in doing so, he gathered everyone, had them sit together, and turned what little they had into a shared meal that satisfied all. Sumobra pa. That's what Pancatilla has been doing for the last 20 years. What started as a simple act of generosity seeded by Miss Ruth U. Owen in memory of her sister, brought to life by Shing and many others, has now multiplied beyond what anyone imagined. Because of the kindness of our benefactors, personal and corporate benefactors, and yes, even students. Students who once received this daily bread are now the ones giving, ensuring that the next generation of scholars would still be fed. Ito po, this is the real miracle. Not just the food provided, but the spirit of generosity it has inspired. And beyond generosity, it is a sign of communion. Communion. Because when we break bread together, when we share what little we have, we are not just helping each other. We are truly building something much deeper, far more meaningful. A community where no one is left behind. So today, we give thanks, not just for the meals, which are very important, not just for these meals that have been provided, but for the people who made this possible. It's Ruth, Shing, for all our benefactors, for all our former scholars now ready to give, and for all of us who still believe that what we do in this university, when we say we want to form persons for and with others, we truly mean that. And that we show that we mean those words by actually doing them. And so we give thanks to God for allowing us to come together as a community. Pancatilla is proof of that grace. It is also proof that when we stop waiting for others to act, when we take what little we have and then entrust it into something greater, into the hands of God, it will always, always, always be enough. So, my dear friends, let the miracle continue. Maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat, and God bless everyone.